Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Sushi Go, Spin Some for Dim Sum by Gamewright Games.
Sushi Go is a long line of games from Gamewright, and now they have come out with Sushi Go Spin Some for Dim Sum. And obviously this has a dim sum theme to it, and you will be spinning the board as the board does spin, which I will show you here in just a minute. And with this one, you are trying to do what you do in Sushi Go. You're trying to collect items to match certain things. So this is a set collection drafting game. But as you might guess, with the spinning board, it takes it up a notch to make it a little bit different than all the other Sushi Go's you're probably familiar with. Let me show you how it works down below, and then we'll come back and share thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Sushi Go Spin Some for Dim Sum on the table. Let me show you guys how this drafting game is going to work, in which you are trying to collect certain dim sum here for points as depicted on the menu that each player is going to have. As far as components go, each player will have their own menu in their player color. They'll have a matching plate, which is going to sit in front of one of the 6 baskets on this spinning board, and in each of those baskets, there are going to be dim sum cards that you will shuffle and place equally into these 6 baskets. You do have a steamed bun squishy, which is really fun to play with, especially if you've got kids. They're going to love this little guy right here. And you have some chopstick tokens up here at the top. And as I mentioned, there are plates here for every player in their player color. Now, how this game is going to work, like I mentioned, the setup, you're going to have the cards in these baskets, and each player is going to have one basket that is denoted as their basket that's in front of their plate here. And what you are trying to do is you're trying to collect the different items here to get as many points as you can over the course of 12 rounds. And you'll know how many rounds are left as depicted on the half circles that are on the outside edge of your menu. Once you've filled up all of these half circles, the game will be over, and you will go to final scoring. So on your turn, it's very simple. You will have the choice to take whatever is in the basket right in front of your plate, and if you do take that, you will just simply set it on one of the half circles on your menu, and then it would be the next player's turn. Or if you have any of these sushi or these chopstick tokens, you can spin them to rotate the table one space forward clockwise or counterclockwise. And you have to put a chopstick in each basket that you pass over. So if I didn't want this one, I could spin a chopstick and I could go one click over. And this does kind of click so that it sits in its place and it doesn't just keep spinning. And I could take this one, or I could put a chopstick there and move one space over and take this one if I wanted to. Whatever I end up taking, I take that one. And if I did take one that had chopsticks already on it, then I would get to gather those chopsticks and put them with the rest of my chopsticks. And that's all you're doing on your turn. So what are you trying to do with these dim sum cards? Well, you are trying to complete sets here for points. The small sesame ball is going to give you 1 point each. Large sesame ball is going to give you 2 points. The chive dumpling is going to give you 4 points per pair. You get nothing if you don't have a pair. The egg tart is going to give you increasing number of points depending on how many you get. The shrimp dumpling will give you 7 points for a set of 3, but again, just like the chive dumpling, if you don't get a set of 3, you aren't getting any points. The turnip cake is going to give you 2 points each if you have an odd number, no points if you have an even number. The shumai dumpling will give you 12 points for a set of 4. The steamed bun, which is this guy right here, he's going to give you 3 points for the most. If you have the most steamed buns on your menu, if you have the fewest, you will lose 3 points. So you either want the most or want to avoid having the fewest. And then there are special plates. So there's the special plate right here. It's going to give you 4 points if you have the items depicted on it somewhere on your menu. So this in and of itself is a set that you're trying to complete. And if you are able to do so, you will get 4 points. And then leftover chopsticks are going to be 1 point for every 2 tokens. Now, there's one other special thing about the steamed bun that I haven't mentioned, and that is that if you take one of the steamed bun cards, you get to take the steamed bun squishy. And you can hold on to this, and at any time on a turn, you can spend the steamed bun, putting it back in the center of the board, to rotate this as many spaces as you want, not needing to spend any chopsticks to do so, so that you can take whatever item you want to take to complete whatever sets you are working on. But that's all there is to this game. You will count up your points after you have filled up all your menus, and you'll see who has the most points, and that's how you play Sushi Go Spin Some for Dim Sum. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Sushi Go Spin Some for Dim Sum from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. And Sam, I think it'd be important to let the people know our history with Sushi Go. It was a game that we've played way early on, well before Love to Hate, as probably lots of you out there played Sushi Go a long time ago. Original Sushi Go Party, Sushi Go whatever all the other ones are. And so we're familiar with the line of Sushi Go games. And they're fun games. They're fun, classic drafting games that have kind of fed into a lot of other games, branching out from the same type of mechanics, same type of gameplay. And so to see it kind of come to this with this kind of, spinning board that some might say is gimmicky or whatever, is a cool take. It's refreshing to kind of see it come back with some newness to it. So for you as a non-gamer, what did you think of this game?
I mean, it's a cute game. You have a menu, you have your dim sum in the middle, and I mean, I think it's very gimmicky, but I think in a good way. It's not a negative thing.
I think the thing about it that I was really surprised with is the level of flashiness that Gamewright put into this game. Like, this game is pretty well produced, you know? The artwork, it's similar artwork to what you've seen in other Sushi Go games, but it feels like it's just bigger and brighter, and it's a big box now. And they didn't spare any expense to make it feel like a big game experience, if that makes sense. Sushi Go is usually this little tiny game, and it's a little tiny game experience.
Yeah.
There's tiny game experiences, and then there's big box experiences, and I feel like you get the big box experience with this one too. And that's not even talking about the fact that the board spins. You throw that into the mix too, and it's like, whoa, this is actually quite impressive. Or at least that was my feelings on it. What did you think?
Yeah, and I mean, everything, the mechanics work really well. Like it's not just gimmicky and looks. It works well. The whole experience flows really well, I think.
Yeah, this is a very smooth game. I mean, it's very simple, just like all the other Sushi Go's were, and so it just kind of fits in line with the same level of crunchiness or weight to the game. It's not a complex game. It's very smooth. It's very intuitive. Let's talk about, is it enjoyable? What was the gameplay experience like for you as far as that goes?
I thought it was fun. We actually played with all 4 of our kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, our 3-year-old needed a lot of assistance, but our 5-year-old was fairly independent in it.
Yeah.
And then our 9 and 11-year-old were completely independent. And so any game where we can even potentially play with all 4 of our kids, I think is always a keeper for us. So it spans multiple ages.
Yeah.
I mean, I still won, so the adults are probably going to do better. But I think everyone had a really good time, and I think the picture, I mean, for the kids, they're matching the pictures. And so it's pretty straightforward to understand how to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, the box says ages 8 and up, but obviously you can go younger than that. I mean, like we said, our 5-year-old, he had a pretty good grasp on this game, so there you go. But the fact that it plays up to 6, and it being this family weight game that has a lot of table presence with it is a pretty compelling reason to get this game and put it out on the table, because very few games can play up to 6, and very few family weight games are going to entice the entire spectrum of the family, from youngest to mom and dad. And this game does a pretty good job of doing that. So I think it deserves some props for that. Now, I will say, it's a light game. It is a game in, which you're just getting a simple set collection and you're trying to manipulate the spinny board. And that's really all there is to it. So it's not going to compel big, heavy gamers to come to the table to play. But if you know what it is and you're getting it for that reason, I think it's going to do a pretty good job at doing that. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to pros and cons for Sushi Go, Spin Some for Dim Sum. So, Sam, for you as a non-gamer, what stands out?
I think I mentioned most of it already. I think how it looked like a menu and how, it really did kind of have like a restaurant feel to it.
It's very thematic.
Yeah, and I really liked that. And I think the pictures and being able to match those and understand those makes it a lot easier for kids to play too. So that's a pro for me.
Yeah, and time-wise, I think is a good pro with it. Box says 20 minutes, and I think that's probably fairly accurate, maybe 5 or 10 minutes longer than that, but not much longer than that. And, that's about as long as you want to go for a family weight game with young kids.
Mom was beating
right. Yeah. I think that's a pro for it.
Yeah.
And like we already said, it feels like the kids can be really engaged. So they seem to be invested from beginning to end, which is always a big factor when you're talking about family gaming.
It goes pretty quickly from person to person. You're not just sitting around. So I think that helps too.
Turns are snappy.
And you have time to kind of look and plan your next move. And so you have to kind of stay engaged the whole time.
Yeah. Anything about it that doesn't work so great?
Nothing that really comes to my mind. It took us a little while to understand in the directions where to place. We didn't see the half.
Yeah, the menu board. It has those little shaded color half circles around the edge.
But it's kind of hanging off the board.
Yeah.
I almost wish maybe the pieces would be slightly smaller and the menu slightly bigger so that it could actually fit
fully on the menu.
Yeah, full on the menu. But that's nitpicking.
Well, to kind of piggyback off of that, the game is a bit of a table hog. It does take up quite a bit of space, especially if you're playing at 6. And so you are going to need a bigger space to play with those menus and the cards hanging off the menus and the spinny board in the middle. So it is a bigger box.
Yeah.
It's a bigger game. So that is something you have to be prepared for. I think for me, one con might just simply be for the fact that, you only have 5 options in the spinny board. And if none of them really work for what you're going for, you're forced to make a bad choice. And that is what it is with drafting games, right? Like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's a lighter game. It's 20-30 minutes long, so get over it. It's not gonna break your night. So all right, scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where does Sushi Go, Spin Some for Dim Sum come in at?
I really like this game. I don't think I can put it in the same category as some of our heavier games. So as far as family games go, I'm gonna give it probably a 7.9.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. As far as games that we can play with our kids, I think it's a big hit.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's fair. We've been talking about that's what this game is.
Yeah.
Don't compare it to these big heavy games up here. I shouldn't point at Boop because that's not a very heavy game. But even animated, it's a gamer, more of a gamer game. This is more of like a family game.
Yeah.
Like let's play this with the kids who maybe have only ever played Candyland before.
Yeah.
So like Sam's saying, I think she's exactly right on that. I'm going to score it in a similar manner. I'm going to say it's a 7.7 for me because like we're saying, it checks all the boxes as far as what you want in a family game when you're playing with your young kids.
Yeah. You're not going to have a group of gamers over and be like, guys,
let's play this.
Yeah.
That's not what you're doing with this particular one. But with the youngsters, this is a pretty good one. So check it out. The game is Sushi Go, Spin Some for Dim Sum. It is from Gamewright. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this one.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.